This video is for the woman who has gone through the ringer. If you've gone through infertility, the loss of a child, failed fertility treatments, illness after going through fertility treatments, just that deep, dark place that so many of us go to that we don't talk about. I thought that, at a young age, my life would look obviously very different because I thought that I would have children. And I thought, it would look like the picture of what I had always seen where, someone just easily gets pregnant and they get to go through their 9 months of pregnancy, feel, a baby kick inside of them, get to hear the heartbeat, celebrate with your loved one and your friends and your family. And my story looked really different. It was not what I expected. I went through many, many, many years of not being able to get pregnant and trying. And then I did eventually get pregnant once. I didn't know I was pregnant. It was a ectopic pregnancy. So I actually almost could have lost my life through that pregnancy, but I was well taken care of and I was able to heal after that. And after that, I ended up going through fertility treatments years later and was given a lot of hope. I thought that was going to be the answer. I knew other women who had PCOS like me, had endometriosis, and they had been able to get pregnant through doing these treatments. And unfortunately, it didn't work for me. Actually, my husband was gone on a trip, a deployment, and I was alone when I took that pregnancy test, and it was negative, and it was very, very difficult. My husband was the one who really encouraged me and assured me that, I could never fail him. I could never disappoint him. And that, I was loved regardless. And he didn't want me to go through that type of treatment again. I prayed for an entire year because I really, really wanted to do the treatments because I wanted to get pregnant. But I could not get to a place where I felt peace. And so that's when I came to a crossroads where I basically had to accept that I wasn't going to try anymore. That was really hard after so many years of trying. I went through a couple years of just trying to do things on my own and, getting triggered by different things, like seeing, women with children, women that were pregnant, ultrasound machines, scenes on movies of women giving birth, all of these different things. They hurt women that go through this type of journey. And it's actually my husband who suggested that I try therapy. So I went, and it was really helpful for me. I, at that point, felt like I had lost myself. I just felt like infertility and the loss of a child, it just touches every area of your life. It touches you physically, mentally, spiritually. After the fertility treatments, I actually developed a anxiety panic disorder, and I had no clue what was going on with me. Nobody had told me this could happen, and I was in a very, very, very dark place, and I was very sick. I had a lot of trouble falling asleep, staying asleep, and went to the hospital multiple times, and they just kept telling me it was anxiety. But I just knew that, deep down inside of me, I felt like something was unbalanced, and that it, wasn't, just like a chemical imbalance in my brain, or just simply some sort of anxiety that, I needed to take medication for. I felt like when I'd gone through the fertility treatment, something had changed in, my body that I needed to heal. And so healing that, was not a one-part process. I went through therapy, and I learned, I went to her and I was like, I've gone through so much trauma in my life, and I'm really good at overcoming it. I don't understand why, over the past 20 years, this infertility thing is so difficult for me, and I feel like I just keep going backwards. And she was like, well, infertility is not trauma, it's grief. And I remember that was just like a huge aha moment for me. I was like, oh yeah, I don't know how to grieve. I walked through how to grieve with my therapist, and I used journaling and art to really help me express the pain. I wrote a letter to my baby. I wrote about what it felt like, the deepest, darkest things, the things that, you don't want to say out loud sometimes. And that really helped me to be able to release those things. And also finding a doctor that was willing to do other testing than just like the normal primary care doctor. And that was actually how I found out what was wrong with me. My hormones were unbalanced. My adrenal glands weren't functioning correctly. Just a whole bunch of different things that had happened. And she was able to help me start healing my body through supplements and vitamins and doing healthy things. And that's kind of why I'm wanting to share this video, is because I want people to know that if you're in this place, you're not alone. There was a friend of mine that I eventually ended up talking with, and come to find out, she, had gone through years of fertility treatments and ended up developing the same thing. She was having like an anxiety disorder, and she had so much fear in her life that she actually got to the point where she was scared to have children. So she wanted to like not have children. And I remember in that moment her talking with me and just feeling like, oh my gosh, like this huge weight came off of me, because I'm like, I'm not alone. Like someone else is actually going through this. Like I don't feel like there's something wrong with me now. Like I feel like, this is normal. I'm not going crazy. And that's why having a community of women where we can be honest and transparent with each other and share our struggles, share our trials, what we've done to overcome them, and just having someone we can talk to, that we can pray with, it is everything. It is so powerful. And just knowing that it's not about, our worth coming from what we can produce, but who we are. Our worth comes from who created us, being known and deeply loved by God. And that was everything for me, reading scripture and just seeking his wisdom, seeking his voice, having that intimacy with God, and relying on friends and family through these difficult things that I've endured. It was what helped me heal. So I hope that, me sharing my journey of infertility and the struggles that I've gone through, really I just shared an overview of it. There's so much more that happened, but I hope that this can encourage someone, let someone know that they're not alone, let them know that there are resources and tools out there that can help them. And if you need someone to talk to, I'm here. Pretty and Wild is all about encouraging women, knowing their worth, and that visual of that wildflower that's breaking through the stone. You are that wildflower, and no matter what you go through, you can do this. You can bloom. So thank you for letting me share this with you guys. I love you all, and I can't wait to share more.